Vian's point of view. Few days later, I managed to score a job somewhere in the city as marketing manager for a food company. And since I didn't have anyone to take care of Era while I am at work, I started sending her to play school somewhere nearby the office. Since my work can be done mostly online, I was rarely in office. I would always try to hang out somewhere nearby her play school for some peace of mind. I was about to leave Era at her play school when I bumped into Yoongi. Geez, why do I bump into you when I least expected? I joked. Yoongi was walking alone and he flashed the brightest gummy smile when he saw me. What are you doing here? I asked. Just wanted to take advantage of this nice weather. Is this Era's new school? He asked when he saw the sign. I nodded. I can assume only you know about this, right? You do know that the first time we saw you, Jimin and Hobie were there, right? I laughed. Yeah, did they ever ask you about Era? I think they got it figured out, but yeah, no, both of them. You don't ask, they won't tell. Yoongi calmly responded. Hey, I just have an idea. Why don't you come and hang out with us tonight? I blinked few times before I could answer. He won't be there. He told us already that he has other plans tonight. It took him very little effort to convince me because he knew I missed hanging out with them. My heart dropped a little when I heard that Jungkook was not going to be there, and I was half angry at myself for feeling that way. He has a girlfriend, remember, I thought. Later that night, I made my way to their dorm very oh so discreetly and managed to avoid any press. When I arrived, all of them except for Jungkook was there, including Mina and Yoonhee, Namjoon's girlfriend. We talked a lot. I was so happy to hang out with all of them again, even though it's partly felt weird that Jungkook was not there. Have you been seeing anyone? Namjoon asked. I shook my head. Who has the time? I was quite occupied in London with. I stopped myself and Yoongi just looked at me like a deer in headlights. With what? Tell us, Jimin excitedly asked. Just work stuff. You know how launders are busy, I lied. Do you want to stay over for the night? Mina and Junhee are planning to sleep over. Since Jungkook is not coming back tonight, you can just sleep in his room, Taeyong said. I remembered Era at home and made a quick call to my mother since I was already half drunk from all the drinks that Jimin served. My mother assured me that it was okay to stay over and to make sure that I'll come back before noon. Come on, we'll sleep with you in that room unless if you prefer to sleep on the couch. Meena joked. Fine, but are you sure he's not coming back? I asked again. Yes, all of them responded in unison. We talked and talked and talked till it was really late at night. Since all of them stayed over, I had no choice but to sleep in Jungkook's room. But Mina and Junhee agreed to bunk with me. I already had too much to drink, so it didn't take me long to fall into deep sleep as long as I got into bed. I accidentally woke up at 5 a.m. because that's the usual time Era would wake me up for a toilet. Era, I said, and then I remembered that I was not at my parents' place. I looked at the empty space on my left and right, and that was when I realized that both of the girls left me in room all alone. The moment I realized I was alone in his room, I felt anxious. I wanted to throw up. I had no idea what made me agree to sleep here even though he was not around. I used to sleep in this room 3 years ago. We used to share this bed together. I started sobbing when I realized that there was someone in the room, sitting on the couch opposite my bed. Did you have nightmare? Jungkook point of view. I tried to be the best boyfriend for Sarah for the next few days to fix the whole hanging out with Ryan issue. Since then I stopped texting Ryan, but deep in my heart I was hoping she would come and find me. That weekend I decided to take her on a short trip, but halfway through our trip Sarah's parents called her home because one of her aunt had heart attack, so she had to stay home and take care of her cousins. I offered to stay with her since Jimin asked me to not come back to the dorm as my room was being used by Namjoon and her girlfriend, But Sarah insisted that I should go back. Screw it, I'll just go back to the dorm and sleep on the couch like I did the other day, I said to myself while driving back home. By the time I arrived, all of them were already asleep, and I know they had some kind of party because booze was everywhere. At first, I thought of just sleeping on the couch, but then I heard weird noises coming from Namjoon's room. I listened closely and I heard Namjoon and Juhi were busy having their own time in his room, which means no one was staying in mine. I slowly made my way to my room and opened the door. There's a woman on my bed. I wanted to inspect further because it didn't look like any of their girlfriends, and I didn't want to turn on the lights since that might further surprise whoever that was in my bed. Hey, I felt someone pulled me out of the room. Jimin, who is that? I asked. Jungkook, I'm so sorry, we thought you were not coming back tonight. Jimin apologized as he tried to pull me out of the room again. I looked at him, and that was when I realized that was Wayan on my bed. What is she doing here? I asked. We invited her over and she got a bit drunk, so we asked her to stay or since you were not coming back. I'm so sorry, you can take my room, I'll sleep on the couch, Jimin added. I told Jimin not to worry about it, even though it was slightly bit weird to see your ex-wife there sleeping on the bed that we used to sleep in. I quickly changed into my pajamas and sat on the couch that was opposite to my bed. I just looked at her sleeping. She looked so peaceful. She must be dead tired. She would never fall asleep without removing her makeup. I carefully sat next to her and watched her sleep for a bit before realizing it was already 4 a.m. I went back to the couch and tried to catch a short nap and hopefully to wake before her. I was about to fall into deep sleep when I heard her murmuring in her sleep. I can't believe she still does this. She mumbled few more times before she managed to bring herself to sit at the corner of the bed. I forgot, Era is not here, she said to herself while rubbing her temples. Era? Who is Era? Hey, did you have a nightmare? I said from the couch. She jumped from the bed as soon as she heard my voice and looked around. I'm so sorry. They told me that you are not coming back tonight. Hey, don't worry about it. It's 5:15 a.m. You should get few hours in before going back, I said. She yawned and sat on the bed again. Oh my god, how much did I drink last night? I chuckled. When was the last time you drank? You don't usually drink this much. Oh god, I don't even know. Hey, I am sorry for crashing here like this. Hold on for a bit. I said to her and went out to get some water and some toast for her. Her only handover cure. I can't believe I still remember these things. I came back into the room with the things in my hand and handed it to her. Ugh, you're such a saint. Thank you, she said while resting her head on my shoulder. I could feel my heart was racing as soon as she did this. No worries, just finished both bread and water, then sleep for another 2 3 hours. I will send you back later, okay? I said. She nodded. The whole time she was eating, I just stared at her, and I think she might have noticed it because she kept looking away. Go to sleep, okay? I'll just be on the couch and will wake you up in a bit, I said while pulling the covers onto her. I was about to go back to my couch when I felt her pulling my hand. Then I heard her calling my name softly. Jungkook. I stopped and looked at her. Are you okay? Can you stay here just till I fell asleep? I didn't even think twice before saying yes to her. I made my way back to the bed and sat right next to her. She was cozily snuggled under the comforter. I just laid right next to her and watched her as she was falling asleep. With the amount of drinks she had, I have no idea if she would remember this. Mummy, are we going to meet any of the BTS members anytime soon? Era said while eating her pancakes. My parents looked at me. Era, why don't you finish your breakfast and then we can go to the park together? I'm out. Thank you to my mom because after that she quickly finished her breakfast and made her way to the living room. It had been 4 days since I woke up in Jungkook's bed, and I remember everything that happened that night. I know Jungkook kissed my forehead. I know that I asked him to sleep next to me. It shouldn't mean anything, but I was kind of expecting Jungkook would contact me after what happened, but nothing. Until now, Yoongi assumed that we slept with each other, and I had to tell him a millions of times that it didn't happen. Your things from London just arrived. How many things did you decide to bring back home? My dad said as he pointed the boxes that were at the door. I chuckled before running to the boxes. I don't even remember when I shipped this out. Can you look after Era while I bring this back into my room? I asked my dad. After moving all the boxes to my room, Era joined in to unpack some of her toys. Mummy, can I open any of the boxes? Era asked. I nodded. Let me know which one and I'll cut it for you, okay? She pointed to one of the smaller boxes and I just cut it for her. I was going through the stuff when Era suddenly shouted for me. Why do you have a photo with John Jungkook? She asked. I snatched the photo from her hand and looked at it. The photo was a bit tighter torn and it was taken the night he proposed to me. It was me sitting on his lap and flashing my ring finger. Boy, did we look happy? Okay, I got to answer calmly to make sure she won't have any more questions. Oh, before they were famous, they had fan meetings like this. I was one of the lucky ones. Hera took back the photo and carefully studied it. Then she took a long pause. Do you think they are going to have a fan meeting like this? I would love to take a photo with them. I let out a small laugh and said, Era, you are three. Why do you like them so much? Because they make me happy, mummy. Don't they make you happy? Curbed. Sure. I shuddered, answered her question. I didn't remember packing that box before coming back to Seoul because the box had been sealed right after we got a divorce. The box was filled with little trinkets from our relationship, photos, letters, and of course, my wedding ring. I stopped rummaging through the box and asked Era to play outside since I wanted to see what else I got in the box. I was going through the old letters that he used to send to me when he was just a trainee and also some of our wedding photos. Then I heard a knock. It was my mother. Era told me she found a photo of Jungkook, my mom, while sitting next to me. I just kept quiet while looking at the things inside of the box and found an unopened letter. It was written for him. Why is it unopened? She asked. I wrote this after I found out about Era, but never got the nerve to send it, I replied. I still do not understand why, but I took a long sigh and said he never wanted kids. Ryan, are you angry at me? Why would I ever be angry at you? Because we got you drink and slept in JK's room. Lol, no. I have been busy with work and my shipment from London arrived yesterday. Was busy rearranging stuff. Glad to hear. Let's go to lunch. I do have 45 minutes to spare before my next meeting. Can we meet somewhere nearby? Okay. Right after I sent the last message to Jimin, I changed my clothes to something very appropriate since I had a meeting to attend at the office later and I was also hoping that I would bump into Jungkook. When I got there, only Jungkook and Namjoon were not there. Namjoon was busy with work and Jungkook was out with Sarah. We should have nights like that again. It felt like we were in our trainees' day. Taeyong joked. I rolled my eyes. I got so drunk that night that I had to ask my mom to babysit Era. I said without realizing it. Everyone looked at me, especially Jungi. Who's Era? Jin asked. Think on top of your head, Ryan. It's my niece. I forgot that I got her for the day I lied. All of them resumed back to eating after hearing my answer, and Yoongi just gave me two thumbs up for being a dumbass. We were halfway eating when Jungkook joined our table, and I thought he was going to sit next to me, since that was the only available chair left at our table. But he pulled another chair and sat at the end of the table. That was a bit weird, but whatever. Hey Jungkook, where are you from? I asked. He didn't even look at me and replied, my girlfriend's place. The moment he said girlfriend, I could feel my heart sunk at the bottom of the pit, and his tone didn't help either. It was so damn cold and harsh. Taeyang held my hand and gave me a smile to ease the tension. I was halfway with my food already, so I quickly tried to finish it since the whole time he was there. He didn't even bother to make eye contact with me. Did something happen between the room incident and now? But I know he was avoiding me because he completely stopped talking to me after that night. Guys, I only have 5 minutes before my next meeting. I'll leave first. Yeah, I politely told them while gathering my laptop bag and handbag. All of them stood up and gave me hug except for Jungkook. He was just playing with his phone the whole time. My cheeks were flushed red. I was so embarrassed with the whole situation. Jungi gave me one final hug and said, I'll call you, okay? I nodded and left the place. Jungi point of view. That was cold, I said to Jungkook, who was playing with his phone. You already knew she would be here. Why did you come? Taeyong asked. Jungkook put down his phone and looked at us. Whatever, can we go home? Sarah dropped me here. Since he was younger than me and I didn't want to fight in front of people, I took my jacket and asked one of the guys to send him home. Taeyong followed me from behind and left the place too. I can't believe that jerk. I gritted my teeth. Hyung, I know as much as we love wine, but Jungkook wants to make it work with Sarah. And you know this is the only way, Taeyong said. That's why we asked her out when he is not around. So why would he want to treat Vian like this when she doesn't even know what happened? The night when Vian came over, she slept in Jungkook's room alone after Mina and Juni left her. They thought it would be okay since Jungkook already informed us earlier that he won't be coming home. And ever since he met Sarah, he was rarely home. Flashback, Chungi point of view. After sending Mina back to her home, I went back to our dorm to hang out with the guys again. And when I got home, only Jungkook was there. He was sitting on his bed. His head was buried in his arms. He looked kind of distraught. What happened to you? I asked. I look around. Where is Van? I sent her home. Are you okay? I asked again. He shook his head. For the longest time, I thought I have forgotten about her, but when she slept here last night, he stopped and started rubbing his forehead. Why do I still remember the smallest things about her? I was puzzled. Did something happen last night? He kept quiet. I mustered every courage that I had and asked him, "Did did you guys slept with each other?" Jungkook shook his head. I told Sarah last night that I want to be serious with her, without knowing the woman that I still have feelings for is sleeping on my bed. What? You still have feelings for Vian?